Sophie Cunningham's response to all this, in terms of her tweets, like, if you guys didn't see Sophie Cunningham's retweets, Sophie Cunningham obviously responded with the shrug Instagram post, but has responded to the petition by just retweeting a freaking post about her jersey being sold out. That is a response. That is quote tweeting her the petition. Like, that is the best way of going about it.
They launched a petition to ban Sophie Cunningham like she's the final boss in a Marvel movie. But her response? Let's just say it wasn't an apology. It was a swagger-packed highlight reel with extra spice. If you expected tears, think again. She came armed with receipts, attitude, and an MIC drop so loud it shook the entire WNBA. This wasn't damage control. This was diva tier domination. Buckle up, because Sophie just flipped cancel culture into a stand-up routine. And the punchline? You won't believe what comes next.
I need to talk about this right here. So yesterday's game was obviously funny. Yesterday's game was obviously crazy. But have you guys not seen the petition? The petition, lads. So if you guys didn't see, obviously, there is the Dallas Wings fan page. Take the All-Star game out of Indiana. I'm serious. This is about player safety. Dude, don't worry. Neither JC or Marina is making the All-Star team. Players will be safe. The only player on the Dallas Wings that's going to make the All-Star team is Paige.
She saw the petition, chuckled mid-lunge, and retweeted it like it was fan mail. Because Sophie Cunningham isn't just unbothered. She's practically feeding off the chaos like it's her pre-game protein shake. They tried to cast her as the villain in some overcooked basketball soap opera, and she showed up like, you rang. This isn't a redemption arc. This is glitter-coated retaliation wrapped in a crossover so cold it needs a warning label.
All-Star break in Indiana, and I'm like, man, Dejanay Carrington needs to work her way back into the starting lineup for the worst team in the WNBA before she even thinks about being an All-Star this year. But yeah, it is hilarious. It is absolutely.
And that tweet. Oh, she didn't just retweet it. She anointed it like a royal decree from the Queen of Petty. It was the digital equivalent of cracking her knuckles and saying, let's dance. If you thought Sophie Cunningham was about to crumble under public outrage, you must be new here. She doesn't fold. She claps back with rhythm, with fire, and with a side-eye so sharp it should come with a warning label.
Now everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin.
The petition itself, a masterpiece of pearl-clutching hysteria. Fans wailing for bans like it's some dystopian version of American Idol, where confidence gets you cancelled instead of crowned. But let's be clear, Sophie isn't dirty, she's reactive. There's a difference between chaos and consequence, and people conveniently forget that. When she gets physical, it's almost always because someone else got sloppy first. She's not throwing the first punch, she's returning the favor, with interest and just the right amount of spice.
I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm not the only one that feels this way. I'm just saying. Sophie Cunningham stood on business. So all these damn petitions and all these little stupid things they're trying to do, these little freaking fines, we don't care about none of that. Now, just like Rachel said, your boy John Liquidator, I'm not condoning any violence whatsoever. But what I can tell you is that Sophie Cunningham stood on business and did the human thing to do.
Because if you mess with her teammates, Sophie's going full medieval. You so much as breathe on her squad the wrong way, and she's coming at you like a human freight train powered by loyalty and fury. This isn't about fouls, it's about family. The league can debate the rulebook all day long, but when someone targets her girls, Sophie's not asking questions, she's making statements. And just like that, out of nowhere, Sophie Cunningham has become the WNBA's most unlikely fan favorite. Not for the Fever Dream Brigade clinging to Caitlin Clark like she's a one-woman revolution, but for everyone else. Sophie's the antihero we didn't know we needed. She's got the grit of a linebacker, the Twitter timing of a meme lord, and the emotional range of a woman who's officially had enough. It's a Cinderella story. But this Cinderella's in sneakers, body-checking defenders, and calling out hypocrisy mid-game. They wanted her silenced. Instead, she became a headline machine with a highlight reel full of vengeance. And she didn't lash out from bitterness. She snapped because she's been watching the same tired narrative unfold for months. Sitting on the sidelines while Caitlyn gets thrown to the wolves, every move dissected, every bump spun into conspiracy.
Now everybody knows who Sophie Cunningham is. Everybody wants a piece of Sophie Cunningham. Her jersey is the #1 selling jersey in the WNBA. Sold out. Now, why is that significant? I'll tell you. Because her jersey surpassed the all-time woman, Caitlin Clark. The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, got her jersey surpassed by Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham stood up for Caitlin Clark.
The double standards were practically dripping from the arena lights. When Fever players get physical, it's passion, grit, just basketball. But when Sophie so much as raises an eyebrow or clears a little space with her shoulder, suddenly it's a felony, a crisis, a petition-worthy offense. Can someone please explain how Sheldon bulldozing Sophie with a lowered shoulder is just competitive spirit, but Sophie standing her ground somehow looked like a war crime on the timeline? Is it selective vision, or just bad acting? Let's talk about Sheldon for a second. That wasn't a bump. That wasn't a love tap. That was a shoulder charge with the energy of someone trying to break through a brick wall using only their torso. It wasn't lowered, it was weaponized. And Sophie, she took the hit, blinked once, and answered the way any self-respecting enforcer would, with an emotional sledgehammer. Because if you're going to test her balance, don't cry foul when she resets the scale. It's not aggression, it's calibration. Here's the kicker. Sophie never asked to be the league's rebel sweetheart. She didn't sign up to be the poster child for resistance. All she wanted was consistency, fairness, maybe even a rulebook that doesn't get rewritten nightly depending on your jersey color or trending hashtags. But once she realized the bullies weren't going away, on or off the court, she didn't just brace for impact. She swung back, hard.
Whose jersey sold out today? The one and only Sophie Cunningham, aka the enforcer and Caitlin Clark's bodyguard. Sophie Cunningham defended the face of basketball, and America was in love. I've honestly never seen so many people agree on one thing on Twitter, and they did last night. And also realizing that you wouldn't want to fight Sophie Cunningham after seeing this headline.
Off the court, Sophie's been roasting people with the finesse of a stand-up comic on a vengeance tour. That retweet, just the opening act. Now her social media feed is a curated exhibit of shade and clapbacks, each post a masterpiece, every eye-roll emoji a brushstroke. She's not just posting, she's Picasso with pettiness. It's more than a feed. It's a mood board for everyone who's ever been labeled the villain just for setting boundaries, with force. And guess what? It's working. The fans have flipped the script. People are wearing her jersey, stitching her plays into TikToks, defending her like she's the last line of defense for basketball integrity. She's no longer just a player, she's a vibe. The kind of athlete who doesn't need a PR team to manage backlash, because she is the backlash. She's dragging the league's double standards into the spotlight and emotionally dunking on them with receipts in hand. Meanwhile, the haters are spiraling. They don't know what to do with a woman who refuses to wilt. The more noise they make, the louder her cheers get. Every clip of her clapbacks and retaliation goes viral like it's a trailer for Atomic Blonde 2. Every game she plays now feels like a showdown between those rooting for justice and those still clutching their pearls because someone dared to play defense with passion.
I am sorry, bro. That was honorable what she had done for Caitlyn, bro. What did Rachel Dementa say? What did Rachel say about this?
If the refs are not going to do their job, the players are going to have to be the enforcers themselves. This game was chippy from the beginning, and the refs did not do their job. JC Sheldon.
Sophie's not out here throwing elbows for fun. She's defending her people. When Caitlyn took hits, who spoke up? Who stepped in? Sophie. She saw the whispers, the cheap shots, the sneaky fouls no one wanted to call, and said, "Not on my watch." And sure, maybe it got physical. Maybe she sent a message. But that message was loud and crystal clear. You can push us, but we'll push back. Harder. Somewhere in the middle of the chaos, she became the WNBA's new symbol of unapologetic power. Not because she asked for it, but because she earned it. On the court. In the fire. With every shoulder check, every snarky tweet, every time she stood her ground when others backed away. She didn't start the fire, but she learned how to cook with it. What the haters haven't realized is this. You can't cancel someone who's already cashed in on their villain arc. Sophie leaned in, made it stylish, and now the very people who wanted her gone are watching her rise. Not just as a player, but as a full-blown phenomenon. So go ahead. Pull up the petition. Watch the signatures roll in like digital tears. Because the more they protest, the more power she gathers. She's not just surviving the noise, she's conducting the orchestra. And if you think this is the end, think again. Sophie's just getting started.
I don't understand how she ain't got 1 million followers or more by now. I've never really had an opinion on NBA or WNBA because I've just never cared to watch it. It's always been boring. Since Caitlin Clark, it has been interesting to watch. And now Sophie Cunningham, she don't play about her teammate. These girls, this combo makes it so worth watching. I heard she's a black belt too. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? You go, girl. Everybody go follow Sophie. Maybe one day I'll get to come watch